It is Tuesday, May the 14th, 2024. I am Jay Cleveland Payne. This is Things You Might Have Heard, and I have for you 8 stories in the queue from the past day. That's Monday. You vetted as conversational, covering topics including information, politics, current events, and pop culture news. Apologies for the insanity that is going to be the craziness that will be the next couple of weeks as we are doing some transitions and some fixes and a whole lot of praying. So we'll take some prayers from you. But thank you for joining me for today's edition, whether you're watching me live at 5:50 Central Time or you're catching us on a replay someplace or part of our clips. Thank you for being a part of the family. Make sure you stop by our website, thisisaconversationproject.com, or you email us at theconversationinbox@gmail.com, or you can do both. One can give you information on how we do things. The other one will essentially give you a chance to chat with us. Today, featuring stories including Bronny James, Jen Psaki, and birthday wishes to George Lucas. Going on to story number 1. These stories are not listed in a particular order as you'll see them here, but we'll give you some context on how they kind of fell through into the actual play for today. Story number 1, headline number 1, it reads like this. Smoke from Canadian wildfires reaches U.S., Minnesota under air quality alert. For the second time in 2 years, Canadian smoke is an issue. Now, from the robot editor, smoke from over 100 active wildfires in Canada has significantly affected the air quality in several U.S. states, particularly Minnesota. The smoke, characterized as especially heavy, has drifted across the border and is affecting regions from Montana to Wisconsin. Minnesota in particular is experiencing severe air quality issues due to the smoke. You can't stop it. You literally can't contain it because it just goes through the air wafting, as the fires going on in Canada right now, which is a seasonal thing, are causing air quality issues for us in the States. We will see how quickly they can actually get those fires contained, which usually take a while going forward. Wildfires are a natural occurrence, and they will happen because we actually need wildfires to help clear out some space going forward. It's nature's way of taking care of the dead tinder and making fresh new stuff. The issues come from when they come out of control because as people are living there, you got to defend the structures and defend the people who are there and things going forward. Good luck to the firefighters in Canada and the ones that'll go from across around the world to help stop these fires. Same with the fires we'll have here in the States fairly soon. And we'll deal with the air quality as it happens. Let's go to headline number 2 for this morning. We go to Jen Psaki. Jen Psaki to alter passage from her new book after Axios calls out her inaccurate account of Notorious Biden incident. From the actual report, Jen Psaki, former White House press secretary, has decided to alter passages in her new book after being criticized for inaccuracies concerning the incident involving President Biden. According to reports, Psaki's book initially claimed that President Biden did not check his watch during a ceremony, which was factually incorrect. The detail has been a point of contention as critics used it to challenge the president's demeanor and respect during solemn occasions. Following feedback, particularly from Axios, Psaki will revise her memoir to correct or remove the disputed account. This is becoming a generally occurring thing for books and memoirs, and people's stories are being told and being retold. We talked about Rebel Wilson, who's having a big chunk of her book taken out in the UK because Sacha Baron Cohen is disputing it's happening. So over there, they're pulling it out of there to keep from essentially being sued for libel over there. Here, Jen Psaki has a book that's done, and she says something that basically wasn't true, and now she has to change books as books are already printed. Oh, by the way, that governor who killed her dog, who said it was a mistake to put it in the book, although she actually read the audiobook, so all the words that were in there were there. Oh, the dog part was not a mistake. The Kim Jong-un meeting part was a mistake, although she read that aloud for the audiobook version. How come people can't get their memory straight and then put out books and then find out memories are wrong and then have to change the books? No one in the process of book writing does any spell checking. This is like me doing my books. This is my poor spell checking and my poor reference checking. What's going on with this thing? Oh, by the way, So 50 Happens coming out at the end of this year, or September, because that's my 50th birthday. So 50 Happened. See how much my knowledge I will screw up in that book coming out around September 29th, my birthday. Story number 3 for this morning. Good news and maybe good news. The headline reads, Bronny James receives medical clearance to play in the NBA, AP sources says. After day went through, more people said sources. So whoever your sources are, the sources say that Bronny James, the son of NBA superstar LeBron James, has recently been medically cleared to participate in the NBA. Clearance comes as Bronny had suffered cardiac arrest back in July of his previous year, but starting his freshman year in college. The development is a significant step in his journey to the NBA, as it allows him to remain in the draft for this year, participate in upcoming combine, so we can see his talent. Several reports indicate that multiple NBA teams are interested in him and are planning to host him for workouts. One of those multiple teams has to be the Los Angeles Lakers or other teams who might want to find a way to grab LeBron in some sort of weird trade matrix deal so that Bron can play with Bronny. Because that's what the goal is going, folks. LeBron James not losing any part of his talent. He's not out of his prime yet, but time will tell. Let's go to time that tells us what happened in the story. The headline changed. The headline didn't change, but the actual activity actually happened. Headline is Baltimore Bridge be blown apart to free sinking ship. What happened? The Baltimore Key Bridge was subjected to controlled demolition, so it actually was blown apart using explosions to clear a section that collapsed after a collision with the cargo ship Dali. The incident occurred in March, resulting in 6 fatalities. Of course, those were workers that were on the bridge who could not get contacted to get off the bridge that was cleared. The controlled demolition was essential to facilitate efforts to refloat the cargo ship, which has been obstructed by the bridge's debris. The operation included blasting a 12 million pound section of the bridge to remove it from the ship's path. This measure aims to mitigate further risk and expedite the clearance and repair process. Right now, this channel is open in very limited capacity, so some things come in and out, but the whole wide channel for full operations, nowhere near there, especially with this barge just sitting there in the way and big pieces of bridge in the way. As they clear bridge, more clearance will come with more activity. This is a headline that continues with the headlines that came from the weekend. Now, over the weekend, many mass graduations happened across the United States in high schools and in colleges. And we talked about many of them, the issues happening. We had them in the listings. I don't think we actually, I can't remember. Oh, we didn't do a video yesterday. So we had in the stories yesterday, in the actual 8, the story about Howard University, which had to cancel its graduation while going on because people were essentially breaking windows and just crashing, making noise outside. This is one that's directly attached to Gaza protests, with the headline reading, Duke students walk out of Jerry Seinfeld's graduation speak in Gaza protests. I will not do the Jerry Seinfeld voice today because that does not do this justice. But from the story, at Duke University's 2024 commencement ceremony, a group of students staged a walkout during Jerry Seinfeld's speech. The protest was motivated by Seinfeld's vocal support for Israel, particularly in light of the ongoing tensions and conflicts involving Israel. About 30 student participants in the walkout expressing their pro-Palestinian stance. The incident highlights the intersection of celebrity, politics, and university events, demonstrating how global political issues can influence local events and provoke activism on students. So Seinfeld just sort of took it, which is what you can do. He said he appreciated people speaking their mind, using their voice or their freedom to do stuff, and also basically doing his own graduation speech stuff, saying, hey, this is your time. Do what you need to do right now and go for it. You can go look for bits and pieces of it, especially clips of the actual walkout, which are everywhere. But what he said, and he gave a pretty moving performance for those who stayed for this. But the performance that was the walkout, obviously a performance meant to happen to get some potential. Will it make any difference? Probably not. As many folks say on the Twitters and the X's and the threads and the other things out there, Christmas is ruined. Headline reads, Netflix likely to secure rights to NFL Christmas games. As we're all screaming in collective, no, like Darth Vader. Let me read you the story and give you details. Netflix is reportedly set to acquire the exclusive streaming rights to 2 NFL Christmas Day games in 2024, this season. This move represents Netflix's first significant venue into broadcast live sports, particularly major games like this one. The streaming service is currently leading in the negotiations, and if successful, this will mark a shift of NFL games from traditional television broadcasting to streaming platforms. Not exactly. We'll get to that in a moment. For fans, this means watching these NFL games will require a Netflix subscription. Here's the deal. There's already one game that's basically on Amazon. There you go. And there's already the Thursday Night Football, which is basically on Amazon. There you go. What this will do, in theory, If Amazon keeps its one game for your Christmas Day, the two games that would be normally network games essentially go to Netflix, which does mean no more. Well, there's no more Phil Sims anyway, but no, you're going to have whoever's going to call the game for Netflix, whoever they have their sports team, and you have to pay a subscription for it because Netflix has no free tier. They have a lower cost tier that does have ads, but that's what's going to happen. As many have said in the social media, football is ruined, Christmas is ruined, all these things are ruined, and what makes Christmas Day so special, watching football all day long with your family, may not be the thing. Now, we'll see based on how many subscriptions will be sold coming for Netflix. People will buy Netflix for the football. Chances are it's not going to happen. Well, it's going to happen, not going to happen the way they're looking for it. The saga continues for Miss Teen USA as Miss Teen USA runner-up Stephanie Skinner declines the title after UmaSofia Srivastava's resignation. Let's get to the robot editor's write-up on this one, and before we go deep into our little rant on this one. After the resignation of UmaSofia Srivastava, the winner of the 2023 Miss USA title, runner-up Stephanie Skinner, also declined to take the crown. Srivastava resigned, citing misalignment between her personal values and organization's direction. This is Miss Teen USA, not Miss USA. We've talked about that dumpster fire a bunch. Skinner, following Srivastava's resignation, robot editor should know better to put all this in there, chose not to accept the title due to her prior work commitments. I'll air quotes that one, emphasizing the importance of her commitment to a global project she has already agreed to, i.e. she lost the race, so she got another job, and she's not going to give up her job for this petty Miss Teen USA stuff. This has left the organization in a challenging position as they now seek a new title holder for 2023. I'm sure there's a second runner-up and a third runner-up and 50 other girls they can pick from who will take the jobs. One of them is just sitting at home waiting for the phone to ring for something big, so someone will take the job. Obviously not someone on the winning scale as the winner and first runner-up. This is bad. This is not good for pageants. This is not good for Teen and Miss USA. This is not good for any of us, even for us who believe that beauty pageants on TV are just a waste of our time. That's me right here. This is not a good look. Finally, also not a good look, but we're here again. GameStop soars as flag bearer Roaring Kitty resurfaces, sparks meme stock rally. After the, here's the deal. The guy who was one of the main guys pushing the big GameStop meme stock back in the day, is back in this day pushing some GameStop. Now, has GameStop gotten to be a better company? Not particularly. They've reorganized some things. They've worked on some of their issues. They're in better shape right now, but are they a growing company in a world where everything is online and digital, and the guys that work at GameStop, you're paying them as low as much as possible for people just to sort of literally warehouse and just look at stuff and then go out and go other ways? Not particularly, but the stock is going back up again, bringing back the meme stocks to the moon, halcyon days of a couple of years back. What will this mean? Well, this guy's back on the Reddits, back on the socials, back selling himself and selling his soul to raise some GameStop price, so basically he can sell it before it crashes. What will you do with GameStop? You may buy it, you may not buy it. I'm not suggesting you buy it, but of course, as one of our sponsors is Robinhood, where you can buy what you want to. Buy it if you want to. Play around a little bit, see how it's going, and do your own research, your actual research. That means watching more than one analysis, reading more than one paper, looking at the buy rates from a handful of different analysts as they go buy, hold, sell, and then you make the choice. Also, don't bet the farm on GameStop. Bet a little money, bet a bale of hay, but not the farm, please. Not the farm, please. Let's go to our teaser story for the morning. This is a headline story that we are teasing. We are putting out there for you to engage in. If you deal it worthy of talking about, we will put it into our headlines and our stuff for either the newsletter, which is the thing that's going to happen, or the videos, or best possible we can do going forward. Now, here's the thing on this one. This one may be one that may touch you just really right here. So this is a big deal. Red Lobster is abruptly closing dozens of restaurants. Lots of stores and Red Lobster. We've talked about this a couple times in various headlines. That Red Lobster is working on a plan to shut down stores. Also, some other stores from its parent company, other restaurants are being rejiggered as well. At this point, Red Lobster is literally doing the whole, while you're in the middle of dinner, the people are rushing you out of the room because they're shutting things down that night. That's happening all over the nation. Red Lobster, owned by Darden Foods, is having issues. They're all having issues. Chain stores, chains, restaurants especially having issues. Red Lobster is not, of course, the seafood lover's place anymore, as more places are coming up, more local places are coming up, and just the way that the business works for restaurants after COVID and coming back, the money's not moneying right. Well, the math is mathing well for money for restaurants. Will we talk about this story tomorrow? You let us know, and it's simple. You tell us by going to our feeds. Our feeds are our pages, our links on Facebook and X, or Twitter, if you will. X is doing more to change it from the Twitter to X, so we may have to actually change the chyrons. Twitter.com or X.com/th_conversations, where we are. And also, this is a conversation project on Facebook. Go to those sites when you're checking your other stuff on social media and see what stories we're posting. Every 50 minutes, we post a news story. About every 50 minutes, we post a news article from various different sources for you to engage in. Just engage in it. Click the little emoji you like to, share it, talk about it, comment on it. The higher engagement score we get, the better chance you have of talking about the stories here. On Monday, if you got the newsletter, there were 10 stories in there that were from the top 30 of the weekend. For today, there were 8 stories from top 15 of Monday, and so on till the end of the week. That's how it will happen. We want you to, I'll talk more about the newsletter in a moment, but because we're sort of on a very chaotic schedule on posting this and getting short takes in there, you want to get these news stories every single weekday morning. Make sure you subscribe to the headlines, the newsletter going forward. So get that going. But make sure you engage in the stories and tell us what stories to talk about and posting in the videos and the headlines in the newsletter by going to the feeds. We also have our Spotlight sponsor. And if we don't do videos, we don't have time to spotlight a sponsor. So sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not so great. The great sponsor today is Hostage Tape. And we're very sad that, one, we don't get a chance to joke about hostage tape, and two, they're actually getting the short end of the stick, as we know we've already missed one day of broadcasting this week and it won't be a full day for broadcasting. But they might not be so mad, because this is the time where people are starting to get back outdoors and get back out moving around. And so right now is the time where people will be stocking up, hint, hint, on hostage tape. They just had a really big Mother's Day promotion of all things, so I'm not sure if your mother wants them or you have a wife who's a mother who snores really loud, but hostage tape is a big thing for mothers apparently. But it's really big as the most comfortable and the strongest mouth tape on the planet. And you see in the picture in the video, you see the guy with his earbud and he's got it on his mouth as he's running. But you also use it as, the most kind of common use for this was to cover your mouth while you're sleeping to help you breathe through your nose. Helps you breathe through your nose regardless, but for sleeping, it helps you breathe through your nose. It may help with your sleep apnea, whether you have a full diagnosis or just sort of snore real loud. And if you're a person who thinks, hey, this hostage tape, this stuff on my mouth is kind of weird, they have nose strips now that you put in your nose and it opens up for breathing better through your nose as well, without the funny look of having tape over your mouth. Oh, it actually is very comfortable and it doesn't really stick to your hairs on your face very much. So if you got the beard and the mustache, then you're thinking it's going to pull and it's going to hurt. It doesn't pull so much, it doesn't hurt so much. So check it out. And you may need to stock up, because you find out once more people learn about it, they go into deficits pretty quickly. So check it out via our link at this. It's theconversationproject.com/hostage tape. This. It's theconversationproject.com/hostage tape. Get yourself a big deal in this today. This is an affiliate link, so if you join in and subscribe with them or buy with them with this link, we get a small commission. Costs you nothing extra, but you'll get so much joy, oddly enough, from something called hostage tape. The Conversation Project lives online at this. It's conversationproject.com. We've done some serious rejiggering of stuff right now. So we have a very long, very detailed, fun stuff happening in a moment. So bear with me for that one. It probably won't last this long for forever, but we're going to test a few things, see what we can do, and actually add a couple things coming forward. That's what we're going to do. It's what's happening. But to help this thing happen, we need some help. We're looking for help in the form of partnerships. Go to our website. This It's conversationproject.com and click on the partnerships link and see if there's ways that you can help us partner together. And if that is not what you're up to, follow us on our feeds, of course, Facebook and Twitter. Email us at theconversationinbox@gmail.com. Follow us wherever you can. Sign up for the newsletter. And, of course, share videos and audios and links that we have going forward so we have more people in the conversation to make up for what's going on. It would greatly appreciate me and appreciate a lot of folks who do enjoy this for more people. And we know that the number of people who actually can subscribe to something and basically be partner or Patreon and Patreon folks is a small number. It's what happens. It's how advertising works. You get 4 or 5 people to pay for advertising to have a show that people like. And if you keep liking the show, they'll keep advertising. You keep going to the advertiser, they'll keep advertising because it seems like it's all working. If you like what we're getting out here, and today I'm going to say, although going a little long, and I think it's going to go long for a while, I think the actual flow of things are going great. And if you're following along as a partner at the moment and knowing what's going behind the scenes and all the bad things happening, I could use a little bit of extra great things in the wind of a day, which is this thing here when we get it going forward. So consider being a partner. Consider doing great things for other folks by helping providing this great news source. It is a news source, even as aggregated. And consider just helping things out and making things work well here. Consider it. Now, consider the fun stuff happening today. This is time for the fun stuff. I need a new graphic for this because the handoff is going to be really, really weird going forward. But the fun stuff for this morning includes a whole bunch of stuff. So bear with me as we're doing a new, very long cut of this. And we'll probably clip this up going later. Starting off with birthdays. We're back to birthdays. Birthdays are fun, and not just one birthday. We'll get you 3. Starting off with George Lucas turning 80 years old on the day as people are celebrating 80 years of Star Wars, not quite Star Wars, but 80 years of Star Wars imagination. He became famous doing American Graffiti, which is definitely not Star Wars, and then got the chance to do this space opera that's turned into this massive thing that we cannot get away from. George Lucas turning 80 years old on the day. Rob Gronkowski, who is 35 years old. I'm not even sure what he actually does these days. I don't think he's playing football. I think he's just on the circuit making commercials for USAA and roasting Tom Brady and things like that. But Rob Gronkowski, I think he's actually sitting on the actual table for Fox's coverage of football this upcoming season. He did some fill-ins last year, so I think that's his actual job. And missing kicks for millions of dollars at the Super Bowl, that as well. And Miranda Cosgrove, who's 31 years old, the current, Rob Gronkowski is 35. Miranda Cosgrove is 31 years old, the iCarly star in the iCarly revival, which I believe has been canceled again. But I think they're trying to make one more movie, get another quick season out to get through that so that Carly's character can be retired forever. And Miranda Cosgrove can go on to do more stuff. More adulty stuff, if you will. A whole lot of history since we have the time. Well, we don't, but we're going to make the time. In 1804, for this day in history, Lewis and Clark's expedition departed from Camp Dubois, began its historic journey by traveling up the Missouri River. In 1973, Skylab, the United States' first space station, was launched. Really big deal at the time. Obviously, I was not quite launched at that point in time, so I wasn't really into it at that point, but learned about it in retro as I got into the space station and the space shuttle stuff back in the early 80s. And in 1998, the season finale of Seinfeld, there guy's names pop up again, aired on NBC. 76 million people watched it back in the day in 1998 when people were still watching appointment television. Now, the really cool thing about Seinfeld is a lot of things popped up, including TV Land, which had pictures of people on the back of their heads watching Seinfeld with the sound really low to just acknowledge the ending of the era with the show. So that all happened on this day, May 14th, back in them days. The word for the day is shacket. Didn't know that word existed. Don't know why this word existed, but it does, and it probably that probably isn't what you thought it was when I first said it. A shacket is a garment in the style of a button-down shirt made of a thicker fabric and usually worn over other shirts. It's a shirt worn over a shirt that's sort of a jacket. Shacket. He pulled a gray wool shacket over his t-shirt as the evening air turned chilly. The trend of wearing a shirt over an open shirt, over a t-shirt, if you will, is called wearing a shacket, wearing a shirt like a jacket. Moving on to today's new thing. We have affirmations. I have another book out there that I've been pushing called 100 Daily Affirmations for 100 Daily Affirmations. We're going to just call it that. And here's a daily affirmation you can add to your listing of the day. Affirmation for today: my mind is clear of self-doubt and I am ready to embrace every challenge. This affirmation is something that will be good for enhancing stress management. Affirming that your mind is clear of self-doubt aids in stress management by fostering a powerful outlook, making you better equipped to handle stressors with ease and confidence. And of course, we still celebrate stuff. Celebration today, Buttermilk Biscuit Day. Whether you go to Popeyes and get some from there with a bag of chicken, or you make them yourself in your oven at home, today is a day to celebrate some buttermilk biscuits. Maybe with maybe with honey. Maybe you just make them as biscuits and gravy, and you put the sausage gravy on top of it. But find yourself a biscuit today and enjoys yourself with some biscuits. Today, we've wrapped up the Tuesday, May 14th edition, 2024 of Things You Might Have Heard. I am Jay Cleveland Payne. Thank you so much for joining us for this thing here. Sorry for missing yesterday, and hopefully we'll have one to go through for tomorrow. It's going to be a very chaotic week as we're trying to wrap up some of the more painful things that have going on, no pun intended, that are dealing with some of my living condition stuff. We are literally running out of time where we're living in. So if you've been following that saga, we are running out of time, and it's getting really dire, and I don't really know the answer to what things are going to go at this point. And we're not going to talk much more about that because there may be words that may be talked about in litigation. But let's get on with the day, because we have a great day expected on Tuesday. It's going to be a wonderful day here in Little Rock. The sun should come out today, and we'll enjoy some great days going forward. Hopefully where you are, you're getting that great sun or great cloud cover that you need, or maybe you need some rain somewhere. Canada probably needs some rain because of the wildfires, so maybe that could help out. In the meantime, thank you for being a part of the show. Follow us on the feeds on Facebook and Twitter/X, and so you can help be a part of the show by telling us the stories to talk about. You put the words in my mouth every single morning, so you can do that for us, for me, for y'all. Consider being a partner. Go to the website and look how that works out. And if not, make sure you email me with your comments so I know what to do better for the folks who will be partners. How about that? Love you. Mean it. Make sure you understand this life is a marathon, and stay limber, stay hydrated, stay on task. These are things we tell folks because it's a long way to go. Trust me, we have a long way to go. I have a long way to go personally, some things, and I praise and thank all the folks who have reached out to me and asked and sent prayers and comments and condolences in some cases going forward, because it has been kind of a rough. But we're going to do our best to be here tomorrow, give you these news stories. If not, make sure you go to our website and subscribe to the newsletter so you do get the headlines every single morning. We'll get the newsletter out. We can have time to do that sometimes. It takes extra time to get out the actual video. And of course, the 30 minutes it took today to record this. 30 minutes is going to be, I guess, the new rolling time for this. So deal with it. Or look for clips that will come as I chip them up down the way. Thank you so much. We out of here. Love you. Mean it. See you tomorrow. We hope for a video of things you might not have heard.